Welcome to the New Orleans Saints podcast, presented by Rouse's Markets. You'll hear from players, coaches, broadcasters, and writers that cover the NFL daily. The New Orleans Saints podcast starts right now. Here's your host, Erin Summers.
Welcome into the New Orleans Saints podcast. Erin Summers here. The Saints are back to work after a 25-19 loss to the Patriots. The third game they have dropped this season by 7 points or less. Opportunities were again there Sunday. Saints moved the ball well behind quarterback Spencer Rattler, who head coach Kellen Moore said operated at a really high level. They just couldn't manage to finish with more than a field goal on most drives.
Yeah, ultimately, I think, we had 5 drives where I felt like we were moving it well, and then it was, there's obviously 2 third down miss ops, there's 2 holds, and then there's a false start. And all those, I think, occurred plus 37. You guys probably know this better than me. Plus 37 or tighter. And so there's five drives where we feel like we're doing a lot of good stuff. We're progressing it really well. And then we just, make a mistake or have a missed op, and then we just can't gather ourselves back up. And so I got to do a better job of, sustaining these drives for these guys and giving them the best opportunity to be successful because, again, there's plenty of good in there. And, we just got to find a way to.
There was a lot of good. Blake Grupe bounced back, had a perfect day, going 4 of 4 with a 54-yard long. Taysom Hill got into the end zone on a 1-yard QB keeper. There was a 53-yard explosive play to Chris Olave to open up the game. And the team had a chance at the end.
I think we're always evolving. We're always trying to get better. We're trying to find the best possible solution to be successful. And so that's what we all do collectively. We try and play better, coach better, improve in every aspect. And so that's what you take from each Monday. We come in here and, we look at it from a player perspective, from a coach perspective, from a preparation perspective, and say, what margins can we improve in all 3 categories? And so, I think everyone takes ownership of it in their own area. And that's what I love about this group is our group really takes ownership, responsibility. They want to get better. They focus on the task at hand. We're pretty much to the 24-hour rule now, so this thing's got to move on and get to the next one.
It is on to the next, and that is the Chicago Bears, who go into their Monday night matchup against the Commanders 2-2 on the season. For today's guest, let's bring in a Chicago native, Saints legend, running back, and Super Bowl champ, Pierre Thomas. Pierre, thank you for joining me on the New Orleans Saints podcast. It is great to have you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm glad that you guys reached out. I mean, it's been so long since I talked to my black and gold family. I've been busy enjoying retirement life, but, everything is going great. I can't ask for more. God is good.
Great. I like to hear that. The Saints are in a little bit of a transition period right now as they are under a new head coach, defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, going with quarterback Spencer Rattler. Overall, what's been your take on where the Saints are at this season?
I mean, just like you said, it's under construction right now, so things are going to be a little shaky. We all know that once you have things going under construction, there's always going to be some mishaps. It's not going to be perfect. We need to get settled first at this point, and we need to find our guys and find the right position for our guys. And Rattler, he's doing a great job. The games I noticed, he has some great poise. I'm starting to see this last game and the 2 games, the Giants game as well. He was a lot more comfortable in the pocket more than he used to be. Mm-hmm. So I believe this is his 2nd year, and it takes some time to get accustomed. I mean, some of us can jump into the game within the 1st year or the 2nd year. But I would say the 3rd year for mostly all players, that's when you feel a lot more comfortable. You get more reps and you're getting a chance to actually see the game itself, because when you're exchanging guys play after play or giving the guys a few plays, they're not really seeing much. And then in practice, it's not the same as the game. Mm-hmm. Practice, the tempo is a lot faster. Everything needs to be perfect. Everybody is anxious to do the right thing, but sometimes the right thing don't always happen. You want the things to go your way, but you have to practice how you play in practice, So it has to be all the same, but I'm not sure how they're giving the playing time to these guys, but you got to pick one and you have to move forward with that one guy. And then you got to hope that he does the best. And if he doesn't, then you being a player, you should know if you don't perform, you're going to be sitting the bench at some point.
Mm-hmm. Well, so far this season, Rattler has done extremely well. He leads the league right now in starts without a giveaway with 5. So I think he has managed the situation that he's in at the best of his ability so far. And of course, it doesn't hurt when you have a running back like Alvin Kamara right there, easy handoff. You, former running back. What do you think of AK and his ability still?
Oh man, I think that kid is electric. I enjoy watching him. I tell a lot of people he's better than me. A lot of guys kept calling me back. I know guys who work there still. Fred McAfee,
Mhm.
player personnel. He told me he was like, "Man, this kid got balance like you." And I saw him when he first got there. I'm like, "Well, no, he's actually way better than me." So he's like a mixture of myself, if you could say Sproles or Reggie, as that slot back and that fast guy who, Sean and Drew who love throwing passes to, but he also has the power to move a pile. And he hits the holes very fast. I mean, he's almost like the total package. That's why you see him now, almost about the. I think he's going to break the record for the most rushing yards for the Saints. I think he's going to have almost every record that we have. I think he had 5 touchdowns in one game or 6 touchdowns in one game,
Mhm.
and then he kind of do that back to back. I mean, that just shows you right there that kid is exciting to watch, and he's electric out there on that field. So I enjoy watching him every time he plays.
Yeah, I mean, after Sunday's performance against the Patriots, he's 11th overall all-time running back list in receiving yards. So he is definitely up there in terms of just like league notoriety as well. You have somebody else coming along behind him, kind of beside him at times, and Kendre Miller. And Miller dealt with some injuries to start his time here, but man, the way that he runs downhill and breaks tackles, it's a little bit different type of running back than Alvin Kamara. How do you think the two work well together?
I think they work very well together because Miller will get the hard uh, yards that you need, those 3rd and 1s, those short down distance first to get the first down. He's one of those. He kind of reminds me of a Chris Ivory back then when I was playing. That hard nosed runner, but he hit the hole real hard, and it takes a lot of guys to bring him down. And he's showing that he has the potential and the skill to be their guy, and take a little pressure off Kamara because
Mhm.
Kamara. I'm not saying he doesn't take on the hits, he does, but you want to save a player like that a little bit more, and you get your powerhouse like Miller, who runs, and he's shifty as well as too, but he's more of that powerhouse guy and runs very hard, which I like too. I like that combination, and that was just kind of the same skills that I had with Reggie and when Sproles were here too. But I say mostly when we won the Super Bowl during our Super Bowl run, but we also had a guy like Mike Bell who was on the team who also ran hard too. So Mike always gave us those short yard distance that we needed to get that first down, or if we were on the goal line. That's the type of guy Miller is. And you got that dual package. If you can get both of those guys on the field at the same time, I mean, you can make defense struggle because they're trying to figure out, okay, who's going to be doing what. If
Mhm.
they can get back to what we did in '09, I think things would look a lot better for them. But that's the coaching staff. I'm not going to do that for them. That's their job. My job is to sit back, watch, and root them on.
Yeah, no, I would be all about an '09 repeat, the way that season ended and everything.
Absolutely, absolutely. I can't wait. We got so close so many times, but I mean, it just sucks that the guys just couldn't pull it off. But I mean, they're getting close, so I hope they believe in that and can see how close they're getting. And but with all this change, it's tough
Mhm.
because you're not in the same rhythm. The guys got to believe in themselves and believe in what the coaches are bringing to them with the game plan. And because that's what we did, we believed in each other, we believed in the coaches, and we came together like a family. And that's what these guys got to do. They got to come together, and not just on the field. They got to do a lot more things off the field. Getting involved in the community a little bit more, or just doing things with themselves a little bit more off the field to create that bond of brotherhood that they need.
As a former player, the Saints are sitting here now with 3 games that they've dropped that were 1-score games, 7 points or less. So they're right there in so many of these games. Is that encouraging or is it frustrating? And how do you balance that?
A little bit of both. It's frustrating because you're right there. Like you said, you're only a touchdown away or a few points away from actually winning that game. And it's frustrating because it could be one little mistake that you guys had. Yeah, it might have been one guy who fumbled the ball or one guy who dropped the interception. If he would have got it, it would have changed the structure of the game. But it also motivates you because you're right there. It's right there. It's just that one little push and to believe in yourself and to also keep constantly working hard. Watch film, see what you need to change, see what you need to work on. And you need to do that as an individual. You can't point fingers at your teammates or anything like that because they're
Mhm.
trying their best just like you are. So you have to study the tape, work a little bit harder, push yourself and practice each and every day you go out there, do a little bit more extra, run your routes a little bit crisper as a quarterback, hit your targets, practice on hitting a trash can, because I've seen Drew do this several times from a certain distance, or get your receivers say, hey, we need to work on this play because last week we messed up. Let's run it 10 times and make sure it's crisp and we got it like it's a muscle memory. You want to have everything as a muscle memory, like it's just nothing, and you go out there and you play the game and have fun.
Mhm. Taysom Hill is one of those players that can do so many different things. He was the only player that got into the end zone on Sunday, lined up as the quarterback, 1 yard rush. Fascinating to watch him, how they use him. He's working back in after an injury, but what do you make of a player like that?
He is a all-star player. I mean, all around, the man can do anything and everything. I kind of call him Superman because he can do special teams. I believe he can do defense, but everything on offense that he's doing, he's electric. He's exciting to watch. I mean, he's a dangerous weapon and we need to utilize him a lot more. We need to mix him up in being a receiver, doing double plays, getting him there at halfback, possibly. It's so many different things and so many different ways you can use that man. And a weapon like that, you need that type of weapon on the floor. As long as he can stay healthy, he will help the Saints out tremendously because he is another dangerous player that we have on the field. We have several weapons out there. We just got to figure out how to utilize each one of them. Having Alvin Kamara out there, the same time Tyson Hill's out there, the same time as Miller, Chris out there as well, as like he's healthy now. So you have all these dangerous weapons out there. You just got to figure out how to utilize them and put them in all at the same time to mess with the defense a little bit because they won't know what's going to come if you got all these weapons out there.
You got to give some love to a fellow undrafted player in Rashid Shaheed, though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what I said. You got that speed, so we can beat
Yeah.
you downfield. You know what I mean? I love all my undrafted players, and he has that unbelievable speed. We can utilize him like this is like he reminds me like how we use Devery. You
Mm.
know, so it's they have the weapons just like we had in '09. The coaches got to just figure out how to use them the right way, and these guys got to buy in. They got to work together, and there can't be no finger pointing. They can't get upset. Move on. If something happens, move on to the next play. Forget about what happened, and let's keep thinking positive. Don't hold on to the negative stuff. We got to remain positive. We got to move forward.
All right, next weekend or this upcoming weekend is in Chicago,
Oh yeah, I
your
already know.
birthplace. So, were you a Bears fan? Did you keep up with them?
Yes, yes. I mean, even when I was playing, I still kept up with the Bears. But when we played against the Bears, it was straight war. They were my enemies, but I still got love for them, no matter what. I said this a couple of years ago, and I remember getting hassled because I was actually at the game, and I had posted, "Don't know who to root for, Chicago or the Saints." This was some years ago. Reggie had put in the comments, was like, "Boy, you better stop. You know who to root for." But of course, I was in the Saints suite, so
Yeah.
you already know who I was rooting for. But also, I still do have love for my Bears. But when they play my Saints, Saints all day.
Yeah, that's like Jonathan Casillas. I talked to him last week. He was here for the Giants game and he
Yep.
works with them. He was in the Saints suite. I was like, dude, what are you doing? You can't play both sides here.
Well, you got to share the love. I mean, now that we are outsiders, bystanders, but we still have our love for our team, especially I still love the Saints regardless because that's what gave me my first home, my first, career and my tryout for the pit to play at that level. And
Mhm.
I am appreciative. I love them so much and I love the fans. I would do anything for the organization because they helped me out tremendously. The fans rooted for me. I tell fans all the time, you're the reason why I made the team. And they say, like, no, you put the work in. I said, I did my part, but you guys really pulled for me because during my time, they had already drafted a running back from
Mhm.
Ohio State, and they just saw you guys just loved me a little bit more than that gentleman. But we both tried our best, and we both made it to the league. But I was there, and it was meant to be. God put me in the right path, and He put me there for a reason.
Yeah, you spent 8 years with the Saints, come away with the Super Bowl. What sticks with you most about your time here?
I mean, it's just the love that I got from the people.
Yeah.
I mean, me coming from Chicago, not knowing anybody down there, and just the love that the people was just kept giving me, and that's what made me keep fighting hard because New Orleans became my second home, and the fans became my second family. They pull for me, and every time I come out there, I still get, man, you that boy Pierre Thomas, man. It's like, yes. And sometimes I mess with people. I say, no, I'm his twin brother, Charles, because a lot of people don't know my first name is Charles, but I use Pierre as I've been called Pierre almost my life because I'm a junior.
Hmm.
Everybody calls my father Charles, so he made it known in the household. No, we're not going to call him Charles or Little Charles. He's going to go by Pierre. So I always stuck with Pierre. But now that I'm in business and I use Charles a lot now, so I use my first name. But it's just like I said, it's the fans that I really miss, and also the food. The food, oh my God, hands down, best food I've eaten anywhere in this country.
Yeah.
Hands down. I tell that to everybody. I said, you got to go to New Orleans and you got to try the food out there. I said, the people are amazing. I said, it's called the Big Easy for a reason. They so chill.
Hmm.
They love their food. They love their Saints. They love their city. I mean, it's a world within the whole city. So I always stress it out to people. They have to visit New Orleans no matter what. At some point in their life, go to New Orleans and see the vibes because it's so beautiful out there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were able to see that with the Saints hosting the Super Bowl this year. I mean, it was an amazingly done event week, did a good job, and people got to have a real taste of the New Orleans culture, the food, the people. This weekend in Chicago, it is an outdoor stadium, so much different than the Dome. I'm sure it's early fall, so maybe not too bad weather.
So right now, I'm in Chicago right now. This is home for me. So you guys are going to be lucky. It's supposed to rain Saturday, but it's going to be in the 70s and 60s. And that's beautiful here in Chicago. Some people might think that's cold. No, it's beautiful here in
Yeah.
Chicago in the 60s. I'm like I said, I got no sleeves on and I'm on my roof doing some work right now outside. It's a little cloudy out there. The sun is not out, but it's not raining, but it feels amazing here. So the Saints will have nothing to worry about. They're gonna do their job out here and they're gonna feel right at home.
Yeah, they're practicing outside here for the week, of course, but how different is it going from playing 2 weeks indoors at the Dome to an outdoor stadium?
It's a little different because now you're talking about the field wise. You're talking about the ground turf. It's
Mhm.
mostly all indoors, and then with Chicago here, it's grass, so it's a little looser. The ground is going to give a lot more. So I know Sean stressed it out a lot. You got the right cleats on. You better have these type of cleats on. You got to have the right cleats. I don't want to see anybody slipping and falling. But it's true. You need to have the right cleats because that ground does give out. It's very loose. And when you're a guy who cuts and like these receivers try to make these sharp cuts, for their routes, they're going to need the right cleats on to make sure they can get that ground to put their foot in the ground and get out of that break. So, and same thing with Kamara and Miller when they get in the holes and try to make
Mhm.
a defender miss. They're going to need the right cleats to make sure they get that the grip that they need to do what they need to do out there on that field. But it's I think grass is a lot better. I feel like it's a whole lot better on your joints. But I don't think they're going to miss a beat with it.
Good. Got to get back in the win column for the Saints. I don't need to hear from you about who you want to win if it's not the Saints. So,
I mean, like I said, I'm still sticking with it. I love my Bears. Don't get me wrong. I grew up a Bears fan, but when they play my Saints, Saints all day. Who
there
that?
we go. There we go. All right, you
Who
mentioned
that?
business and doing some different stuff. So, what are you up to these days?
I'm into real estate. I'm a developer right now. I have a subdivision that I'm building out. I'm building 44 homes right now. It's something new to me. The only reason I got into this profession is because I found out I was a carpenter. I had a skill for that. Did not know that until I said, you know what? Let me just try building a bed. So I wanted a bed for my new place, this place that I'm in now. Bought this place in 2018, empty shell. And I noticed that I had a lot of furniture back in New Orleans in storage. I didn't get, then I went drove down there and got it, put it in here, didn't like it, didn't fit the style. So I said, you know what? I'm going to try something different. Instead of buying something, I got more time on my hands. Let me see if I can build it. Sorry about that. I said, let me see if I can build it and see what other skills that I have. That's the one thing I enjoy learning about myself, is to
Mhm.
see what else am I good at in this world. I'm not going to just sit around. I know a lot of guys say, well, you could go into commentating and all that stuff. Yes, I can. I won't have no problem doing that. But I just want to see what else God, blessed me with, what other skills he blessed me with, instead of being an athlete. So I'm out here figuring things out. I'm enjoying it. I'm writing a book. I just got a lot of things going on. I've been a mentor with my alumni, University of Illinois. I Give Back. I helped started a program. Well, my good friend started a program, but I kind of whispered in his ear. But I'm gonna tell him get all his credit. His name is Kevin Mitchell. He started a mentoring program because I kind of told him, it's like, hey man, I want to be a mentor, because I start to see a lot of guys doing all the wrong things, and they just don't have the right guidance. Some of these guys don't have the right guidance. They don't have the people who can talk to them and put them on the right track. And that's what I wanted to do. And I started with some kids in high school. And now I said, I want to do it in the college level to get these guys going. And we started it up, and the we're in our 5th year now. It's wonderful. And I love it because I was assuming I was going to get a football player to mentor.
Mm.
My first person I mentored was a softball player. A softball player, a female. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, wow, okay, how is this going to work? How am I going to talk? Like, this football player, aggressive guy, played an aggressive game, and now I had to talk to a woman who plays softball. It's different. She's a female. I'm a male. But as I went into it, there is no difference. We're athletes.
Mm.
We're athletes. Yes, she's a female, but she is a athlete. She is a fighter. She is a hard worker. She's a grinder, and she's out here to do her best. So we kind of just talked about it, and it was beautiful. It was amazing. It opened my eyes up. I learned so much. I really loved it. And then after that, I had a gymnast. And I had a wrestler. So I'm really liking it, because it helps me out with my skills of mentoring and improving and seeing the world differently through somebody else's eyes in another sport. So I really enjoy it so much. And I just love giving back and talking to people and trying to help them out with their hard issues, their mishaps or whatever, or their guidance, to trying to figure out what's next. What's next. And I'm encouraging them to write more and write about themselves, find about what brings you happiness in life.
Yeah. What's your book about?
My book the title is called The Life I Didn't See Coming. And
Okay.
it talks about my journey through life. And then because when I was a kid, of course, I wanted to play sports. Baseball was my first love. I remember I remember T-ball. This is kind of how it starts off. T-ball, I smacked the mess out of the ball, and I ran around the bases, and I got to home. And I literally saw the parents in the stands cheering. And when I saw that, that brought joy to my heart. And I said, you know what? That's kind of what I want to do. I see the joy that I bring to other people from something that I did that helped out a team. And I enjoy sports. I'm a competitor, just like a lot of us guys. And that's what I wanted to do. And I wanted to make it to the pros. So, and then going through that journey and just going through life itself, I learned a lot. I learned so much. And I talk about all the ups and downs through my journey,
Mhm.
and finally making it. Some people see the glam and glory, but there's a lot of other stuff in between that a lot of fans do not see.
Yeah.
So that's what my book is basically about. I can't give it all away,
Fair.
but I can tell you, I'm telling you, it's all in there. It's
Okay.
all in there, that whole entire lifestyle. So it's a motivational book. It's a heartbreaking book. It's a inspiring book. It's a happy book. It's all over the place. It's ups and downs. So I'm being honest. I'm being real, because we are human. We all go through things in life. And I encourage people, just like the student athletes, you have a story. I don't know your story. Only you know your story. Write it down, tell it. You can do a book if you want to do a book, you could do a
Mhm.
book. If not, just keep your journal.
Yeah.
And it's very therapeutic. It will help you mentally, and it help you find your calling in life.
When is the book coming out? Do we have a date yet? Or are we
No,
roundabout?
because this business is real estate, me trying to build an empire.
Okay, I'll
Like
just wait.
so I'm trying to give time to each,
I'm sure.
little
Yeah.
session. So I'm
Definitely.
trying to give it time, but even Ben Watson told me, he was like, man, you're going to have to be dedicated. He's not lying. You have to be dedicated.
Yeah.
And the book is not paying bills right now. It's in the writing process. So I got to create something that's going to pay the bills. So I want to keep the money coming in and create my empire. But I'm still writing a book. I'm still doing it because I'm still learning. I'm still growing. Life is still going on.
Yeah.
But I mean, there will be there will be another book after, but this one is called The Life I Didn't See Coming.
Awesome. That's great. When you're done with all of that, you're done with your subdivision that you're building, you can come down here and be a commentator with us whenever you want.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, we'd love to have you. Got to get you back here in the Dome sometime.
I will. I just got done talking to a good friend of mine out there. I'm looking to come in possibly either November or December for a game. I'm not really sure which game yet.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
I gotta look at the schedule a little further down to see who we got and what game I really want to come down to.
Yeah, perfect. I love that. It was great catching up with you, hearing some insight into what we're doing here with this team and the season. And then, of course, catching up with what's going on with you. And then, yeah, look forward to seeing you. Looks like maybe a month or two.
Absolutely. I can't wait.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you. Pierre said that there is a chance that he's at the game on Sunday, but definitely confirmed. People are already hitting him up for tickets. Wednesday will be our player podcast with Devon Godshaw, who led the team in tackles and forced a fumble on Sunday. As always, you can tune into that wherever you get your podcasts or watch Thursday, 4 o'clock on the Gulf Coast Sports and Entertainment Network. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening to the New Orleans Saints podcast presented by Rouse's Markets. Join us 3 times per week on NewOrleansSaints.com, the Saints mobile app, or you can download the podcast on iTunes. We'll see you next time, right here on the New Orleans Saints podcast, presented by Rouse's Markets.